My father, when he was in the hospital, he's of a scientific background, not a believer, and could be kind of, like a father, regarding with the gospel, the heart, But, when he was suddenly struck with this thing, and in a moment he couldn't talk, and he was in the hospital, tubes, everything. And my sister happened to be in from another state, and she was on a visit, so she stayed because this all happened when she was here. So she stayed a week and just was there at the hospital helping, continuously. At the end, he couldn't speak, but before she left, he just wrote out on a card. He just wrote out the word angel, angel. My father wouldn't use those words, but the fact is that by seeing care and love and compassion, he called her an angel. And so you see, the world is looking. People who don't know the Lord are willing to see angels, and they want to be visited by God. I mean, and inside, deep, there is a need. You need to be their angel. Verse 7, it says, "And behold, an angel of the Lord suddenly appeared." Number 4, be their angel. Be their angel. There's a movie, The Blues Brothers. They say we're on a mission from God. Well, I don't think so. I don't think if they're on a mission from God, I don't think they'd be singing the blues, Get into the joy and the mission of God. But you are to get into being an angel. Get into being a messenger. I am sent from God. If you are going from God to a person, you are sent from God. That's a joy. Used to be a show on years ago called The Millionaire, and a guy would give $1 million to someone. He said he was given $1 million to give to somebody who changed his life. You got something better than $1 million. What a joy to be able to go to someone. I'm on a mission from God to bless you. The angel didn't just stand outside the prison and say, "Get out, Peter. Come on out already." The secret of getting people out of that's what we do often. The secret is one of the secrets is he had to go in. He had to go in. He had to get in there. He had to go into the prison. The angel had to get in there. The greatest, look at Messiah. How did we get saved? He didn't just stay up in heaven and say, "Come on." He came down into the prison and said, "I'm here inside breaking you out." You want to bless people. You want them to be free. Do you really want them to be free? Then put yourself in their place. Get into where they are so you can get them out. That's the whole thing. Messiah did. He came where we were so we could be where He is. You do the same thing. Put yourself, feel feel their burden. That's what Messiah did. Take their burden. Feel what they're feeling. What do they need to hear? Just that one little thing. You can just be talking to and talking at them. But think about, listen, if I were them, what would I need to hear? I wouldn't need this. If I was, you don't just sit, some of you, your witnessing comes down to, what's the matter with you? You're in prison. What's the matter? Get out of there already, If people don't sense or don't hear God's love or good news in there. There was a preacher in Romania, and Richard Wurmbrand told me, he was preaching, and it was like no effect at all. And he once went to a play where he saw Romeo and Juliet, and this actor was known across Romania for being such an actor. He would speak, and people would be in tears. I mean, it'd be white. And he says, "You are speaking this acting thing." He went up to him and said, "You're just speaking your lines, and people are in tears. I'm preaching the Word of God, and nobody reacts at all. I mean, there's nothing. There's no response." He said, "What do you do?" He said, "Well, when I speak to I speak to the audience. I speak as if they're all Juliet. I speak with my heart. I speak as if I were really Roman. When you preach, you should be preaching. This is God calling to His people. When you speak to someone, you are speaking as from God to their heart. You're speaking with your heart to them. A guy I know actually who's part of Beth Israel, and his wife was not as spiritual as he was. And he's trying to change her. And his attitude was, says, "Come on, what's wrong with you? Come on, let's go. And someone ministered to him and said, "Listen, if you have a child who's sick, you don't say, 'Come on, get up, let's go.' You sit with them, you take off your shoes, you don't go out, you stay with them, you bless them, you take care of their needs, and then you get them well, then it can happen." So you need, that's the way you have to be with your wife. Get to where they're at if you really want them to come. You want them to come, but if you're not willing to get where they are, I'm saying in their situation, to get them out in their heart, that's the first step. When someone steps where you are, you're more willing to go where they are. Meet them where they're at. He was in a dungeon. Peter was in a dungeon. It wasn't a nice place. The angel came from heaven, which is a great place, to a dungeon, which is a lousy place. And he didn't say to look at you. Peter. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're in chains. Look at the chains. Look at this. No, he didn't just judge them. He didn't do that at all. He just came into the cell with him. That meant a lot more. And then it says, a light shone in the cell. The cell is lit up. What do? Next key, shine that light. Go in the name of Messiah. Do all in the name of Messiah. He is the light, and shine His light in a situation. What light? The light of truth, the light of hope. Give them hope. You don't go in there. The angel, said, is coming in there, and he's going to be saying, listen, get out. Now, Peter didn't even know there was a way out. Well, most people in the world don't know there's a way out. They don't know that. Speak to them in hope. Good news. Now, the good news has the truth of judgment and heaven and hell. But it is ultimately good news of hope for those who say yes. It's a way out. And it says, what did the angel do? Look at it. He struck Peter aside. He hit Peter. Well, next thing, you got to touch them. And sometimes you have to hit them. Over the head. He touched his side. But in love, of course. He roused him. He had to wake him up. He was sleeping. So he hit him. So, you got to give as well, and don't be afraid. You want people to get saved. I'm not only speaking about this key is not just for salvation, but for any prison. But if you want people to be saved, you do have to say the full truth. Don't be afraid. Give them the word. The angel spoke to Peter a word from God. You have to give them the word of God. It's okay to go up to somebody and say, listen, you don't have to beat around the bush. Listen. God loves you, and you need to get saved. And otherwise, away from God, there's hell. And there's one way of salvation, and I just care about you. I just want you to be saved. That's it. You can be real. You don't have to always beat around the bush. It's good to be diplomatic, but say the full thing. Wake them up. My parents used to, in the morning, because I had this habit of going to bed too late way back, and, not anymore, absolutely. I've conquered that completely. But I used to, and I had to wake up for school, so they couldn't, they always try different things, to get me up. They throw water on me, water rags and all this stuff. Well, most people who are in prison that you have to get them out are sleeping in the prison. They're sleeping in the prison. They're so used to that darkness that they're sleeping in it. They're so used to the bitterness that they're sleeping in it. You got to wake them up, a wake-up call, there's sometimes you have to be just, hey, come on, call them. The angel said, rise up, Peter. Rise. He spoke with authority. When you are on an angelic mission, you can speak with authority. Because when we go to the nations, God just gives us authority. You just speak. The angel said, get up quickly. Let them know the urgency. Salvation is an urgent thing. It should be shared with peace, but it should be strong. Now, Peter was in chains. So he's here in chains. The angel says, get up. Now, that's a strange thing. He's in chains, and the angel says, just get up. Rise. Come on. But he's in chains. Notice that the angel was not intimidated by the fact that Peter was in chains. He didn't say, if he looked at the situation, he would just say, this guy never can get up because he's in chains. He didn't say that at all. He said, forget the chains. Just get up. So that's a very key thing, because the people in your lives who need to be freed are in chains. And too often we look at the chains and we say, this person's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. For me to say this person's never gonna get saved, this is so far off, it's never gonna happen. You're looking at the chains. But the angel didn't look at the chains and says, I don't care, I'm gonna still tell you to rise up. Don't be intimidated by the chains. The power of Jesus, of Messiah, is the power to break chains. It doesn't matter if it's an Orthodox Jew. It doesn't matter if the guy's in the mafia. It doesn't matter if it's a radical Muslim. It doesn't matter if it's a drug dealer or a prostitute. There are people from all those backgrounds who are now praising God because God broke their chains. He just spoke to Peter as if it was a natural thing. Hey, get up. Forget about it. Get up and come with me. It was like a natural thing. Sometimes there's a power in faith when you witness. There's a power in faith when you want someone freed. That to talk to them, it says he confessed those things that were not as if they were. There is a power in that. I'm not saying, confess your Rolls Royce and your Cadillac. But with God's will, there's a power to it. And it is God's will that people get saved. And so to speak to them, hey, come on, as if almost you're expecting them to. That God's power is strong. That, listen, you can be able to believe God for what they could be, for what God's will is for their life. God's will is that person into drugs is completely free. That person who's been denying the gospel every day of your life is going to be praising Him one time. Speak to them in faith. Rise up. Listen, hey, come on, and be strong about it. Come on, the person, no, come on, come. God has a plan for you, and He does. But he has to get saved. But come on, there's hope. Come on. Act in faith. Believe in faith. By God's power. If you're going to share, you're believing, you're not looking at them. You're looking at God's power to get them out. Verse 8. The angel said to him, and everything we just spoke was in those lines just before. And the angel said to him, gird yourself. Gird yourself. What does that mean? Well, they had to put on, they had their robes, and so if they would move, they had to strap and pull up their robes so they wouldn't trip over their robes and fall over. So he's telling Peter, get ready for action right now. This is your jailbreak. This is your escape. You can't. He's preparing Peter for that. If you were born, you're just born. You come into the world. Your parents don't say, okay, it's been 2 days already. You're in the world now. Come on. You can't just be sitting around all day. You're in the world. We've cut the umbilical cord. You're in there. Come on. Let's you're on your own now. When you are leading somebody out of a bondage, and when you're part of that miracle, you don't just leave them there. You don't just break the chains. You lead them and prepare them and bless them out. That's like if people get saved, and then you don't do anything. That's like leaving a baby that's just there. And same with people who are coming out of something. That's the one thing, we're still sharing with this king, the Oni of Ife. I'm still writing, we're corresponding. And it's just keep praying for him. But I know that for him to come, it's not going to be easy. And for him to totally release it, it's not easy. The other one in Nigeria, this high priestess who we were able to lead to the Lord, she, you can't just, I've told people to go back there, and and things are happening, which is great. But you gotta be committed to really they're to be free. Be committed to prepare them, get them out, follow up with them. He said, put on your sandals, wrap your cloak around you, and follow me, said the angel. Wrap your cloak, follow. So you don't just leave, you guide them out, prepare them for what's ahead. God, help them come out. Don't just, help them stay in the Lord and help them stay free. It's not just true for salvation. It's for change, real change, real change. It's not just emotional. Someone has an emotional thing. That's great, but you got to live it every day, and we have to help people walk out to real life in God. Prepare them. When we share to people, say, listen, it's not going to be easy. It's not that it's easy. You're going to have this problem. You're probably going to have this problem. This problem. Good. Gird your loins. Get ready, but it's okay. God's going to be with you. And he says the other thing. He requires real action. You want people to be, you can't have a jailbreak without action. You can't have a jailbreak without action. There has to be some action. People have an anti-works mentality. That's wrong. It's all from grace. It's all salvation, but it flows into works. It's only manifested in some kind of action. That people are going to be saved. That goes in your life too. You want freedom? Take an action in freedom, in faith. Walk in faith. Take an action. Step out. Do the thing. God will bless it. And you want people to come, require action. Bring them along. But not just say go something, but look what the angel did. Notice what the angel did. He showed him the way. He led him out. He didn't say, okay, go, Peter, I'm staying here. He said, come on. You want people to get saved? A lot of people are not changing in your life. They don't see anything. They're not seeing any example. They're only hearing the words. You can be free, but meanwhile, you're walking around with chains. You're walking around with bitterness. You're walking around without joy. So where are you going to lead them? You're saying, where are you leading me? You don't rejoice. You want to show them how. Show them if they see somebody getting out of the prison, they're going to want that escape too, don't you think? If you're in prison and you see somebody getting out, you're going to say, show me the tunnel.